Welcome back to Washington Journal. We're joined by Representative Harriet Hageman, a Republican of Wyoming, a member of the Judiciary Committee, and also the Natural Resources Committee. Welcome back to the program, Congresswoman.
Thank you. It's wonderful to be here.
As I just mentioned, you serve on the Judiciary Committee, so I want to ask about the recent attacks by Elon Musk and other allies of President Trump, attacking essentially the federal judiciary and saying that they don't have the right to rule and that they should be investigated. Elon Musk saying that the judges should be impeached. What's your take on that?
Well, I'm going to disagree with your basic premise. I don't see it as an attack. I think under our form of government, we're able to criticize anyone who's in public service, whether they are in the judiciary, the executive, or the legislative branch. I think it's perfectly appropriate to criticize a decision if you disagree with it. And in fact, as an attorney, I've done that in the past with judges that I have had. I don't think that that's all that atypical. Where I would agree with Elon Musk and President Trump is I find these decisions to be very strange. And the reason that I say that is that we have been, just bombarded for years with the idea of this all-powerful executive branch. And that's the bureaucracy and the administrative agencies. And the president has the right to do things such as under the last administration, you saw people claiming that the president had the right, for example, to forgive billions of dollars or millions of dollars in student loans, hundreds of millions of dollars in student loans, despite the fact that Congress never passed a law allowing the president to forgive student loans. And they were doing that through the Department of Education. And they were saying the president has the right to do that because he oversees the Department of Education. So,
sorry, who said that? Because the judiciary blocked it.
They did, but there were many people in the media and mainstream media who were perfectly comfortable with the idea that the president had the authority to do something through an agency that is contrary to what Congress did.
But leaving the media aside, let's just stick with the three branches of government. Do you think that the judiciary has overstepped its bounds? Do you think that there's any ambiguity as far as what their role is as compared to the president and the Congress?
It's not a matter of roles. They are defined by Article 1, 2, and 3. Mm-hmm. It's about whether the decision is the right decision. So that's what they're attacking. Elon Musk and the president they're saying legally what these judges are saying are not, that their decisions are not legally sound. We all have the right to criticize or disagree with a judge if they issue a decision that we disagree with. And so I don't have any problem with them saying these decisions are legally suspect and they should not stand. What are they going to do? They're going to do what we always do. They're going to appeal them. It isn't that they're going to defy them. They're going to appeal them up through the process. The president has already said that. We know that's what the Department of Justice is going to do, and that's the correct process to follow.
The Department of Government Efficiency, the subcommittee in the House that's led by Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene, they held their first hearing yesterday. We covered it on C-SPAN. If you missed it, it's on our website. But I want to play you a portion of the top committee Democrat. This is Representative Melanie Stansberry. And she had some remarks, and then I want you to respond.
Okay.
I also want to point out that literally while we've been sitting here for the last almost 2 hours getting lectured on fiscal responsibility, literally the Republicans just released their plan to raise the debt limit while we were sitting here. And they want to raise it by $4 trillion. Okay, guys, like literally, I'm just like without words. Inflation is going up. You want to raise the debt ceiling by $4 trillion. You want to gut Medicare. You want to gut Medicaid. You're talking about going after Social Security after promising that you wouldn't. I mean, really, what the heck is going on here? We're not trying to take down Elon Musk as a businessman. This dude is literally breaking the law inside of the federal government. And for a party that is supposed to be the party of law and order, in quotes, I really do not see you holding him accountable and doing your most basic constitutional responsibility in the separation of powers.
What do you think, Congresswoman?
I don't think she understands the relationship between the debt ceiling and what we're doing in terms of a budget or the spending or what DOJ is doing. Those are not necessarily related. Raising the debt ceiling is simply to pay the bills that have already been incurred. And so I find it rather strange in light of the fact that we're only 1 month into this administration And we've got bills coming due because of the last administration. And so we're raising the debt ceiling so that we can pay the bills that were incurred by Joe Biden. So I find it to be a very strange argument, and I find it to be rather bizarre that she's attempting to equate cutting spending through DOGE and identifying programs that we don't want, don't need, and shouldn't be funding with paying the bills that have already been incurred. That's just strange.
She also said that Elon Musk is breaking the law and that you, the Republicans in Congress, are not holding him accountable.
So what I would ask is, how is he breaking the law? No one seems to be asking that question. He has been appointed by the president, again, just like any other appointee or special employee of the presidential office. He has been appointed and tasked with going in and looking at how the government is spending money. He is doing that. I cannot for the life of me figure out how that would be breaking the law. And I think that's the question we need to be asking these folks. It's easy to throw things around. It's easy to say something like that. I'd like to see the proof of how he's breaking the law.
If you'd like to join our conversation and ask Representative Harriet Hageman, a Republican of Wyoming, any questions, you can do so. She'll be with us for about 20 minutes. The lines are Republicans, 202-748-8001. Democrats, 202-748-8000, and Independents, 202-748-8002. Earlier this week, a group of about 30 House Democrats, led by Representative Glenn Ivey of Maryland, he'll be our guest after your segment, they wrote a letter to the Senate Judiciary Committee urging them to reject Kash Patel as FBI director. I'll just read you a little bit of that. We'll put it on the screen for folks to read. It says, the nomination of Mr. Patel, an individual with almost no law enforcement experience and a history of politically charged and inflammatory statements, is clearly a break from tradition and one that deserves extensive scrutiny as a result. He has published a list of political appointments in his book and has promised to shut down the FBI headquarters on his first day in office. The FBI director is not a position for an erratic political actor focused on retribution. It continues, but I'd like you to respond to that.
I just think that the rhetoric and the hyperbole is just off the charts in terms of making those accusations. Kash Patel has extensive experience in dealing with the issues that he will be as the head of the FBI. One of the things to understand is that prior to 9/11, it was the field offices for the FBI that did the vast majority of the work. There was obviously an FBI office in Washington, D.C., and they did work as well. But our field offices were fairly independent, and they actually functioned much better. It was after 9/11 that the head of the FBI, that Mueller, brought everything here to Washington, D.C. and stockpiled all the power here. And if you talk to people who are long-term FBI employees and people who have dealt with the FBI, they will tell you that that's when the FBI became politicized. So moving the work back out into the field offices where it should be and reducing the footprint here in Washington, D.C., I see as a very positive thing. What I think you're seeing is just the caterwauling about the idea that we would start trying to take power out of Washington, D.C. and returning it to the states where it belongs. Again, there's nothing that is stated in that paragraph that you just read that is entirely accurate for what's happening. So Kash Patel is absolutely qualified.
Including he has published a list of political opponents in his book?
Well, I would like to see how that is written, because I think it's very common in this place to take things out of context. I don't know what they're referring to there. I think, again, let's read the book and see what it says and then compare it to the letter, and then I can comment on that. But just commenting on what they say about what he allegedly wrote, I don't know if that's accurate or not.
You have not read Kash Patel's book?
No.
Okay.